Hi students, this is Jamie, and this podcast is a recording to talk about the 24-hour in a wheelchair assignment. For this assignment, you're going to need to borrow a wheelchair. And you could borrow a wheelchair from the facility that you work at. You could borrow a wheelchair from the Lions Club in your area. You could call a wheelchair vendor or provider to see if you could borrow a wheelchair for a day. I've had students rent a wheelchair for a day. If you're in the Bellingham campus, you can call me and I could arrange for you to borrow one of our wheelchairs for 24 hours. Same if you're in the satellite labs. But most of the time, the online students find wheelchairs on their own in the area that they're in because it's easier than trying to drive up to Bellingham to borrow one of our wheelchairs. But the purpose of this project is for you to see what it's like to be in a wheelchair. And what you're going to do is you're going to get a wheelchair. You're going to wake up in the morning and transfer yourself from your bed into the wheelchair. And then for the next 24 hours, you're going to stay in that wheelchair as much as possible. You're going to go about your normal day that you usually would do. If it was a Saturday, what do you do on a Saturday? Do your homework, you get up, you have breakfast, you brush your teeth. You're going to try and do all of that from the wheelchair. And you're going to take maybe a notepad to jot down some notes on how many times you have to break character, get out of the wheelchair because your home is just not accessible to a wheelchair. For instance, to get out of your home, you have 5 steps, so you have to actually carry the wheelchair. And the purpose of this project is so you can get an idea of the barriers the patients have to overcome when they're in a wheelchair. Also, you're going to understand how the fit of a wheelchair is so important. And the other part of this project is during that 24 hours that you're in a wheelchair, you're going to go somewhere out in the community. Either you're going to go to a restaurant, or you're going to go shopping, or you're going to go to a movie, or you're going to go have coffee with a friend, or you're going to hang out and do your homework on your laptop somewhere. But you need to go out in the community in the wheelchair for this project. And in O'Sullivan, there's a building survey form in Appendix O. And you're going to be using that form to kind of evaluate the establishment that you're in. So if you're going to go to Starbucks coffee shop, try and get into the bathroom in the wheelchair. Can you get into the bathroom? Can you get to the counter? Can you get your coffee from the counter from the wheelchair? You're going to be using that form and evaluating the place in the community that you're in. There's a rubric posted in which you can see all the parts of this assignment that you have to have. There are many different questions that it's asking you. How secure and safe did you feel in your home in a wheelchair? Could you get out in an emergency? How usable do you feel your housing environment is in general if you had to be in a wheelchair? What problems did you have in the wheelchair with the physical environment just outside your home? Paths, pavement, walkways, parking. Could you get to your mailbox? How about cooking? How was your kitchen? Could you cook in your kitchen from your wheelchair? So the rubric will help you with all the questions you are to ask. And you have 2 choices in this assignment. You may create a PowerPoint in which you are asking these questions and putting in pictures of yourself in the wheelchair doing these various tasks. That's one way you could do the project. Or you could actually make a video documentary if you had someone with you that was actually videotaping you moving about your house and going to dinner. So you really have 2 choices. And there's an example, a student example of both of those choices. There's a PowerPoint example of a student who did it last year. There's also a video example of a student who made a documentary of him being in the wheelchair for 24 hours. So you have your choice. And the rubric is well laid out, so you know it's worth 32 points and you know where every single point is coming from. The other thing that I did last year, which the students really enjoyed and they found it very helpful, was that I had them turn in their assignment on a discussion board. And they would post their PowerPoint there or their video there, and then another student would give them feedback using the rubric on if they covered all the required parts. And The example that I put from last year is this student, this is the PowerPoint that he first posted, and another student came on and evaluated it and said, well, you know, it's really great, but you're missing these key elements, and when I add up your grade, it's only a 53%. And what the students liked about this was that I didn't look at them and I did not grade them until they were due. So up until the point that they're due, you can modify them in any way that you want. So if you get peer feedback and you find out, oh my gosh, I can't believe it, I forgot to attach the building survey form, or I forgot to put in the pictures that were required for me when I was out to dinner with my wife, then you can add those pictures in and repost your assignment and get a better grade on it. So this assignment is really about giving you the experience to see what the world looks like from a wheelchair and how the world treats you, either the same or different in a wheelchair. And how you can use this experience to be a better PTA. So if you have any questions about this assignment or you just want to talk about it some more, please feel free to give me a call or email me and I will answer your questions. And I really look forward to seeing your insights and what you learn and reading what you have, how you have changed or not changed because of this project. Have a great day.